to be here and so grateful to Jeannie for this opportunity. And really excited that I'm going first so I can relax and listen to Lisa Dowling with comfort. And I'm so very thankful that you decided to take this opportunity, Lisa. Thanks. I'm not used to talking about my work to a group, so this is a little different for me. I'm used to walking around and talking about the pieces. But I thought what I would do is give you just a short background on how I grew up and the things that influenced me, I guess, to become an artist. And then tell you just a little bit about the work, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have afterwards. Okay? So, I'm going to kind of read it, so bear with me. I'll try and make it conversational. So the work you see is made from everyday objects, everything. Rubber bands, bicycle inner tubes, coffee cup protectors, which are those in the back. They're patterned after coffee cups from protectors from McDonald's. Cash register receipts, the white piece over here. Wax paper, the pieces in the window. And cigarette butts that have been dipped in street striping paint, that white paint you see outside. Some would say the work is referencing our society's obsession with consumption, accumulation, and waste. Perhaps this is true. I would say it is my fascination with the simplicity and beauty of objects we see every day that go unnoticed. So why do I do what I do? Like all of us, there are a series of stories and people that have led us to who and where we are today. I will tell you a couple of pivotal events that have shaped me as an artist. And this is only 8 minutes long, just so you know. Okay, Los Angeles, 1972. Colorado Boulevard in South Pasadena in the early 1970s was a completely different place than it is today. It was lined with defunct buildings and thrift stores. For my classmate, Cheryl, and me, it was the place we went to search for used clothing. I'm not really sure how we drove out there at the age of 17, but somehow Cheryl had access to a car and away we went. As we walked up Colorado Boulevard, we noticed a unique piece of architecture called the Pasadena Museum of Modern Art. Today it is the Norton Simon Museum. Again, 1972. We walked in. It was my first time in a museum. Claes Oldenburg, the pop artist from Sweden working in New York, was exhibiting his huge sculptures. In one room, a single enormous baked potato made of fabric. In another white cavernous room, out of proportion billiard balls. Walking into the next space, a larger than life, snubbed out cigarette butt. I mean, these were huge, filling the space. I was taken aback by their commanding presence. I didn't know how to make sense of them, nor did I really want to. Hi, Kathleen. I'm happy to see you again. Okay. Thank you for the beautiful catalog. Oh, Kathleen is the one responsible for making that beautiful online catalog.
What was your artwork that made it?
Well, we had a thing going there.
Yeah.
Okay. I was taken aback by their commanding presence. I didn't know how to make sense of them, nor did I really want to. I was captivated by the simplicity of the forms and the artist's ability to compel me to look at and experience the common object in a totally different way. Larry Bell was exhibiting his glass cubes. He was sort of new on the art scene at that point in time. And several darkly lit rooms were filled with the enormous fiberworks of Magdalena Abakanowicz from Poland. These works, with their towering presence, enveloped me. I walked around in amazement. And if you're not familiar with her work, these works, the same works that I saw then in '72, are on exhibition at the Tate Modern Museum in London, and you can see them online, and they're really, really just as powerful today as they were then. Okay, we go a little bit forward to the late 1970s. While going to university for our art degree, I lived in a large house with 20 other people. Our goal was to live in community and serve others with unique needs. The people who lived with us came from all walks of life. At first, there was Dennis, age 21, who was dying of cancer and needed a place to spend his last days. Later, Bill from Skid Row, who was looking to make a radical change. Over the 4 years, there were many others with unique and special stories, but the ones that shifted the direction of my path were 2 Cambodian teenagers. They'd been living in a refugee camp in Thailand. Like thousands of other Cambodian youth, their parents had been murdered during the terror of Pol Pot's Khmer Rouge regime in Cambodia. We sponsored them to live with us. As I would ride my bicycle back from the university, they would often be sitting on the front lawn studying English. I loved sitting with them, talking and going over their homework. It was the last year of my art degree, and I realized I wanted to do more. So I got a certificate in teaching English as a second language, then a master's in linguistics, which enabled me to teach English as a second language at Santa Monica College. There's a reason for me telling you this. You'll see in a second. Through the years, I continued to make art and teach English to adults from all over the world. Art making was a solitary creative act. Teaching was equally creative. It was an exciting exchange which empowered students to express their true sense of self in a new language and culture. I was humbled by their determination, goodwill, and above all, kindness. For more than 40 years, they were my real education in life. My current path has morphed into a synthesis of both teaching and art. I'm retired from teaching formally. In my Santa Monica art studio, I have created a space where adults who are learning English can volunteer in the studio in exchange for English practice. They learn new vocabulary through natural conversation and find a place they can call home while forming new friendships. My grandmother used to be part of a quilting bee while living on the farm in Oklahoma. I think of my art studio as a modern-day equivalent. It's a place to build community with new friends in a city that is often intimidating and isolating to a newcomer. As we rip paper, clean inner tubes, or rub wax-dipped rubber bands with graphite powder, the stories, laughter, conversations, and experiences we share are so rich. There are 2 living artists whose works I'm particularly inspired by. Ellen Atsui, working in Nigeria with his team, creates massive, colorful tapestries with bottle caps. You can see 2 beautiful examples of his work in the permanent collection at the Broad Museum in downtown LA. And Jeannie and I had the great pleasure of going together to San Diego, to the Modern Art Museum there, to see a retrospective of his works. It was pretty phenomenal. Tara Donovan works with straws, pins, toothpicks, and countless other everyday objects, transforming them into magical sculptures and landscapes. She had a spellbinding exhibit at the San Diego Museum of Art, also there some years ago. So why do I do it? In the end, it's all about getting lost in the moment and discovery. Like a scientist in a lab, making experiments to see what is possible. Whenever I start something new, I usually ask myself, what happens if? And then the experimentation begins. Sometimes the experiments work out, and sometimes they don't. But when they do, it is very satisfying. And I hope that in looking at the work, you find a place of quiet contemplation, and you are inspired to look at the world of everyday objects just a little bit differently, to have eyes wide open and see beauty in everything and everyone.
Yeah.